Hello, my name is Dallas Keithley. I'm an agent here at Secure Insurance Group, and wanted to just quickly show you some things you might not know about First Heartland site. First Heartland, of course, is the carrier or the FMO that we use, and they have got a really great site. It's at firstheartland.com/homepage, and if you are not set up with their homepage, if you haven't got an account set up, you do have to get registered. Very easy to do. Please reach out to Avela, and she will be happy to get you set up with that. So just let me go over here, and I'm going to show you some things that I use the First Heartland site for on a daily basis. So probably the biggest thing is their insurance tools. So if you just go to home, hover over insurance tools, all these things will pop up. The first thing I'm going to show you is their term quote engine. Probably the thing that I use the most. So I'm going to click on term quote engine here and just walk through how to run a term. This is also where you will go if you want to run a quote for a GUL. And so let's just run a sample term quote here and really show you how to set yourself apart when showing a client that is interested in term, how you can set yourself apart and make it very easy for them to understand. Just did this today. So let's say we're running a quote on a John Doe, right? We'll put his date of birth in here is 3/10. Let's go 1978. So you'll see here the first thing that most people ask a question about is why are there two ages? That's because, of course, some term companies go by the age attained. Other companies go by the age nearest. So in this case, this gentleman is 42 is the attained age, 43 is what the age that he is nearest to. And we said he was a male here in the great state of Missouri. And here is where you can pick either term with simplified issue, or a GUL. Okay, so we'll go with term first and all products there. And then I'm going to select some term links. And I'm going to do a couple. I'm going to do 15, 20, and 30. And then I want to see a couple different death benefits as well. I'm going to do 100, and I'll do, let's do 250, and let's do 500,000 as well. Okay? And we're not going to throw any riders, but you could throw on a child rider, return premium, all these riders here. That's where you would go to do that. Now, if I do not know his, what rating class he's going to be, I can enter some specifics here. So let's say he's in pretty good shape. Let's say 6 foot, and let's go 215. Okay, and then it asks me, does he use any tobacco products? Now, if I click yes, you'll see here it asks how long ago, and it's important to know this stuff. It's important to be, of course, be honest with this stuff. Quit less than a year ago. Some companies are going to give non-tobacco rates. You can also go over here. So let's say we pick yes, and let's say it's currently even. But let's go over here and pick that he only smokes a pipe. Okay. Then, if you want to, if you'll notice, let's come back to that. Let's look at these quotes. I want to show you one thing first here. Now, I always tell my clients before this pops up, it's going to come up as an annual rating. So don't be alarmed when a pretty large number pops up there. So, or an annual premium. So we'll switch that to monthly premium right up here on the right. And you can see here, Prudential gives him a non-smoker plus rating. Securian goes for tobacco. Everybody else is giving you a tobacco rating on a pipe. But I did this to show you that some companies, if it's a pipe, if it's cigars, if it's different, if you've got somebody made with e-cigarettes, you can maybe put them in there. But it will give you a non-tobacco rate. So let's go back here. Always click back to search. If you use your back arrow, it's going to clear out the fields that you already filled in. So always use the back to search arrow. And let's go back here. Let's put no. Now, let's say he's got some health details that we want to look at. So we can add some health details. Just hit continue here. And there's his height and weight. You can click next. At any time, if you want to go ahead and get quotes, you can. There's the tobacco question again, but here's where it gets interesting. So let's say he takes a blood pressure med, current use, and let's say his, his blood pressure reading is, let's say it's 1, and I don't know what a good blood pressure reading should be, and it's about to show, I'd say 135/80. And I'm not sure what it should be, so let's see what that does. Now I can click Get Quotes. If you keep going here, though, you'll see there's cholesterol, and you can put that in as well, but I'm going to go back. I'm not going to put that in. I'm just going to click Get Quotes. Now this takes us back to the quote page that we were at, okay? So again, annual premium. You can see it dropped because he's not tobacco. And even with I must be pretty good on my blood pressure guess there because he's getting a preferred rate, even though he's on blood pressure meds. So now we want to display some of this to the client, right? So let's click, we're going to go a 10-year term with Protective. And again, if you see this accelerated underwriting eligible under here, that simply means that there is a good chance that he will not have to do a physical. So always point that out. It's not going to show up on the thing that I'm going to show you, but just kind of make a note and tell your client, hey, these companies that I'm showing you for these amounts, there's a good chance you will not have to do a physical. And then I'm going to click on here. It takes me to the 250. Now, AIG is 1627, but again, Protective is showing me accelerated underwriting eligible, and so I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to go here to 500,000, and it looks like Banner. Well, Protective again, Banner. I'll show Banner on this one, so I'm going to click that, and then I go to 20 years and do the same thing. There again, Protective, and Protective again there. And then let's go 30 years, and we'll go Banner, and oops, I did something wrong there. I apologize. I think I've got a couple clicked on there, but let's go Protective here. Let me go back and make sure I did that correctly. Yeah, okay. All right, perfect. So now we've got all those clicked, because if you show this to a client, it can get confusing. That's a lot of information there. I like to simplify it. So when I sit down with a client, I'm going to have this ready. I'm going to ask them a few questions over the phone before we meet, and I'm going to put in a comparison ledger. When I pull that up, then you can see here, it lays it out for $100,000. For 10 years, it's $11.05. 20 years, $15.88. 30 years, it's $25.48. And then if I go on down here, it lays out the $250,000 option, and then here's the $500,000 option. You can also go back here. If you want to look at it in a different way, you can go to a list report. Download that, and then the list report will lay it out this way: 10 years, 250, 100,000, 250, 520. And so it's just a nice, easy spreadsheet for your client to look at. And if they're a visual person that likes to see, okay, how can I compare this to this? This is a nice, easy way to do it. Now, let's go back, and let's say your client wants to look at a GUL. We're going to go back here, see if this clears me out. It probably will. Let's go back here and then back to search. There we go. Okay, all the information is still in there. Now let's go to a GUL. Remember, a GUL is simply a term. It's a glorified term is what it is. But instead of going to a certain term period, 10, 20, 30 years, it's going to go to an age. So let's go up here and let's click that we want to show them to 85, 90, 100, 110, and 121. Okay? And we'll leave everything the same here. So we're going to get quotes. And again, it's going to come up with an annual premium. So let's knock that down to monthly. So here we go. Now we've got at age, if you want a GUL that was guaranteed to run until age 85, for 100,000 is John Hancock, 250 is John Hancock, and 500,000 is John Hancock. Not a lot of companies go to age 85, but I've got here to age 90, then is 100,000, 250, 500, and you can see that none of these are accelerated underwriting eligible. If they're going to insure them to age 100 or whatever, they're not going to give them accelerated underwriting privileges. So Protective, and then we'll just go through here. and lay it out real nice for the client to see. Here we go. There we go. Now let's download. I like the list report. I just the way it looks better. Some agents prefer the other one here, but as you can see here, to age 85, cost him $61 a month. For 250, 137. Now to 90, 210. But look at the difference here as we go down. To age 100 is 231 for 100,000. To age 110 is 238, so $6 difference. To age 121 is 240, 150. So this just really lets it laid out nice for your client and can show them. So a lot of different things you can do here. You can mess around over here on the side, and you can pick and choose companies you want to show, how many child units, all these different riders over here you want to show. You can just click accelerated. You can do traditional. You can really customize it on the side here and set yourself apart. Now, let's go back here, though, to I want to go back to the home page for First Heartland. And I want to show you a few things there. So let's back out of this here. And eventually we will get to the First Heartland page. Let's just do this. Go to the home page here for First Heartland. There we go. Okay, on this page here, if you go over Insurance Tools again, here is where you're going to go also if you want to view your applications. You can look at your electronic applications. So I'm going to click on here, and this will show a few cases that I've currently got going right now. It shouldn't show you too much detailed information, but I'm not going to open that. But if I want to view my cases, I can look at my cases, and it'll show me notes. It'll show me that they've been submitted and all that stuff. Over here, though, I can click Start New Case. If I do that, it's going to take me over here. I can put in, again, John Doe. Let's go Doe over here. We'll put the last name where it's supposed to go. And Doe, and 3/10/1978. And it says male. And then it's going to allow you put in your state, and you want a term life, and then find available products. This is where you'll go, and you can start a quote with any of these carriers. You can look up your cases from there. Like I said, you can put in a new case from there. I usually don't start there, and I'll show you what I mean here in a second. If I'm going to do a drop ticket or an e-ticket, I go back to the quote engine and do it from there. But that's where you can go from the home page if you need to look up an electronic application. Now, let's say you need a paper form. You can go to Applications Paper and go there. Let's say I'm going to write a protective, and I want to use a paper application. I can go here. I can go to Protective and see Protective Life. I can go to New Business in Missouri, and I want to write a term life, and then I can select the 20-year term, and it's going to go. It can give me everything that I'll ever need when it comes to writing a protective application. One thing I will tell you, just a little side note here, always fill this first pre-form out. This is the pre-form that allows it. Let's say you put in an application with protective, and they come back rated up, or they don't get a rating that they like. This page right here, if you have the client go ahead and sign it when you submit the original application, allows First Heartland to do a search and look up all these different companies and see if they can get a better rating with that company. So I always have that signed by my client. Now, if we go back over here, we were talking about Insurance Tools. There's where you go to get applications, electronic or paper. Here's some carrier ratings. You can do an illustration request from First Heartland. but I want to show you this down here. Down here is X-ray. Let's say you don't know what to quote a client. We are going to go over X-ray in more detail down the road. We're going to do another recording on X-ray, but here's where you go in order to start an X-ray. And here's some that I have done in the past, but you just click Create New Case, and we'll go on through it again. We're going to do another recording on X-ray down the road. Now, the last thing I want to show you is from the first Heartland website is how to do the difference between like a drop ticket or a paper app. If I go down here to Term Quote Engine again, and let's say we'll use John again. Let's say John Doe, we put him in here and we find out that he does want to go forward, he wants to write a case, okay? The easiest way to do that, let's go here, we've got John Doe, and date of birth of 3/10/1978, male, we set term, let's say he wants to do a 20-year term for $250, and let's say we now know that his rating is going to be preferred best, okay? So we go in here, and if you look here, over here on the side it says apply. Let me take you down to protective. So we hit apply. It gives you the opportunity to either get the paper forms or start a drop ticket. If I click on that start drop ticket, from that point, it's already going to have a lot of the information entered in because I put in John Doe 3/10/78, and then I can start a new case and go from there. Others are even easier. If we go back here and we go over to Lincoln, we hit apply. There's the drop ticket. Lincoln does not even allow you to do paper forms on policies that are under, I believe it's 500,000. So here's the case information. You fill that in, you click select, and then it's going to go over to the application. You're going to fill out this application from here, and it's going to allow you to submit this application via drop ticket. It's very simple, basic questions. I think there's the insurance information, then a temporary life agreement, whether you want that or not, and I don't believe you even ask for the beneficiaries on this one. They're going to ask for that over the phone. Once you submit this, they're going to do the phone call. That will determine whether or not they want to do the accelerated underwriting, whether or not they need to do a paramed, and then you can go from there and get your client taken care of. But the thing, here's what I've found. These drop tickets are very easy to do. They save you a lot of time, but you must prepare your client. Excuse me, I always tell my client, listen, you are going to need about 30 minutes to complete the phone call. They are going to ask you all of the health questions that would normally be asked, and then some. They're going to ask you, do you plan to travel? They're going to ask you if you've flown as a civilian pilot. They are going to ask you question after question after question. Of course, always be honest, but I tell them just answer the question exactly how it is, exactly how it's asked. And I always tell people, I give them an example. I had a gentleman years ago that the underwriter asked him, have you had a heart attack in the last 7 years? Or I'm sorry, in the last 5 years. He said, yeah, I had one about 7 years ago. Well, that wasn't the question. The question was, have you had one in the last 5 years? He should have answered honestly, no. Because he answered it yes, the gentleman hit yes, and I had to go back and do a lot of work to get that taken care of. Just always tell your client, and you can use that story. I use it every time. But just always prepare your client, hey, take some time. Don't do this while you're driving down the road. They're going to ask you a lot of questions. You're going to have to look up medication. You're going to have to look up doctors' names. Have your primary care doctor's name and number ready there. Have all the prescriptions that you take ready there. Go back and think through. For example, if you told me you had a knee surgery, have that written down. What day you had the surgery, what medications you had to take. Did you spend the night in the hospital? All of that stuff. Every medical thing that's ever happened. And I always joke with the gentleman, make sure your wife's sitting there, because if it's anything like mine, she's going to remember that your knee surgery was not last year, it was 7 years ago. So always make sure that you know what you're talking about. Make sure that You've got all your information ready. And if you do that, the number one reason life insurance policies don't get accepted or don't get completed is because the client doesn't do the phone call. So make sure they're ready to go, and then tell them, hey, look, if we have to do a paramed, please set up the paramed time, and I'll help you with that as well. But that is just kind of a quick overview of everything that I use First Heartland's website for. I use it every day. If your underwriter reaches out to you or the case manager reaches out to you, always make sure to respond to them. They'll do it through email. Be sure and check your email. And if I can help in any way, please don't hesitate to ask. Again, my name is Dallas Keithley. You can reach me here at the office at 417-883-9300. That's 417-883-9300. And my email is dallas.keithley@secureig.com. Hope if I can help in any way, please let me know. We'd love to help you guys be successful. We want to see you write a lot of business, and we appreciate you partnering with us.